Barack Obama was on his way back from a speaking engagement in downtown Chicago. It was a chilly evening, and as his motorcade rolled through the city streets, he noticed something unusual. A small food truck stood on the corner of a dimly lit street, with a line of people wrapped in blankets, waiting for a meal. Curious, Obama instructed his driver to slow down. He watched as a tall man with a graying beard handed out steaming cups of soup with a warm smile. Something about him seemed familiar. Without hesitation, he told his security detail to stop. "Sir, are you sure?" an agent asked, his eyes scanning the surroundings. Obama nodded. "I need to meet that man." As he stepped out of the car, the cold air hit him, but he barely noticed. The people in line turned in surprise. They hadn't expected to see a former president here, in the middle of a quiet Chicago street. The man behind the counter looked up, and his eyes widened. "Mr. President?" he asked, wiping his hands on his apron. Obama smiled. "Call me Barack." "And you are?" The man hesitated, then extended his hand. "David Reynolds, sir. Former Marine." Obama shook his hand firmly. "A Marine, huh? And now you're running a food truck?" David nodded. "It's not just any food truck. This is Second Chance Meals. I provide free meals to homeless veterans and those in need." Obama's expression softened. "That's incredible. What made you start this?" David sighed and looked away for a moment. "I was one of them once. After serving in Afghanistan, I struggled to find work, lost my home, and ended up on the streets. No one should have to go through that, especially those who served this country. So when I finally got back on my feet, I promised I'd do something about it." Obama listened intently. He had heard many stories about veterans facing hardship, but seeing someone who had turned their struggles into a mission to help others was something else entirely. "How do you fund all of this?" Obama asked. David chuckled. "Part donations, part out of my own pocket. I work odd jobs during the day to keep this running at night. It's tough, but it's worth it." Obama glanced at the long line of people, some of whom were still shivering in the cold. He knew he had to do something. "Wait here," he said, stepping back towards his car. His security team looked at him, puzzled, but he simply motioned to his aide. A moment later, the aide handed him a checkbook. Walking back to David, he quickly wrote a check and tore it out. "David, this is a small token of appreciation for what you're doing." David took the check, his eyes widening as he saw the amount. $5 million, he whispered. Obama placed a hand on his shoulder. "This is to expand your work. Get a bigger kitchen, hire some help, maybe even open a shelter. Whatever it takes to help more people." David's hands trembled. I don't know what to say." Obama smiled. "Then don't say anything. Just keep doing what you're doing." The small crowd that had gathered erupted into applause. Some wiped away tears. In that moment, it wasn't about politics, fame, or money. It was about doing the right thing. The next morning, news of the encounter spread across the country. Headlines read, "Obama donates $5 million to Veterans Food Program" and "Former President Helps Forgotten Heroes." David's phone rang nonstop with offers of support. Donations poured in, and within weeks, his food truck had expanded into a full-scale community kitchen with shelters in multiple cities. But as with any story that gained attention, not everyone was pleased. Critics accused Obama of using the moment for publicity. Others questioned David's past, searching for any reason to discredit him. Through it all, David remained focused. "This isn't about me," he told a reporter. "It's about the veterans who need help." Months turned into years, and Second Chance Meals became a nationwide movement. Thousands of veterans found not just food, but shelter, support, and a path forward. Obama and David stayed in touch, occasionally meeting to discuss new ways to expand the initiative. One day, Obama invited David to speak at a veterans summit in Washington, D.C. Standing before a packed audience, David shared his journey. "I stand here today because someone believed in me," he said. "But more importantly, because I believed in myself and my mission. We all have the power to change lives." The audience erupted in applause. Obama, seated in the front row, nodded in approval. It was a moment that proved the power of kindness, determination, and second chances. As David stepped off the stage, he felt something he hadn't in years: true fulfillment. His work was far from over, but he knew he wasn't alone. With support from people like Obama and countless others, he was confident that brighter days lay ahead for every veteran in need. Over the next few months, David's initiative grew exponentially. The $5 million donation from Obama was just the beginning. Corporations, inspired by the former president's generosity, began to contribute. Local communities organized fundraisers, and volunteers from all walks of life offered their time and skills. One such volunteer was Maria, a retired nurse who had lost her son in Iraq. She joined Second Chance Meals to provide medical checkups to the veterans who came for meals. "This is my way of honoring my son's memory," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "He would have wanted me to help those who served alongside him." David's vision expanded beyond just meals. He opened a counseling center where veterans could receive mental health support. Many of them struggled with PTSD, and having a safe space to talk made a world of difference. "We're not just feeding bodies, we're healing minds," David explained during an interview. Obama continued to be a steadfast supporter. He used his platform to raise awareness about the challenges veterans faced, urging policymakers to take action. "These men and women sacrificed everything for our country," he said during a speech. "The least we can do is ensure they have a roof over their heads and food on their tables." David's story also inspired other veterans to start similar initiatives across the country. Second Chance Meals became a model for community-driven solutions to veteran homelessness. David traveled to different cities, sharing his experiences and offering guidance to those who wanted to make a difference. One evening, as David was preparing to close up the food truck, a young man approached him. "Mr. Reynolds, my name is Jake," he said nervously. "I just got out of the army, and I'm struggling to find my place. Your story gave me hope. Can I volunteer here?" David smiled warmly. "Of course, Jake. Welcome to the family." As the years went by, Second Chance Meals became more than just an organization, it became a movement. It was a testament to the power of compassion and the impact one person could have on the lives of many. Obama and David's friendship deepened over time. They often met for coffee, discussing not just the initiative but also life, leadership, and the importance of giving back. "You've taught me so much, David," Obama said during one of their meetings. "Your resilience and dedication are truly inspiring." David humbly replied, "I couldn't have done it without your support, Barack. You believed in me when no one else did." The story of Second Chance Meals spread globally, touching hearts and inspiring action. It reminded people that even in the darkest times, there is always hope. And sometimes, all it takes is one act of kindness to change the world.